Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, At Home with Willowberry. Or if you're new, welcome. But where have you been? I'm so happy to see you here. My name is Valerie, and in today's video, I'm going to be decorating Granny's bedroom for Christmas. I make a pork loin for dinner, and I get in the kitchen to bake my first ever pumpkin roll. It's going to be a full day of mobile home living here in our 50-year-old mobile home located up in the Virginia mountains. So if you're interested, then I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the video. How are you all doing today? I sure hope you're having the best day ever. It's a beautiful day here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so I thought I'd get out and change my flag before we leave for our Thanksgiving trip, and then I need to head back up to the house. I want to get a pork loin in the crock pot for dinner tonight. I have a busy day planned, so I wanted something easy for dinner. We're going to have pork loin, and I have some collards that I prepped for Thanksgiving the other night, so we're going to have some of those, and I'm going to throw some sweet potatoes in the oven later this afternoon. I want to leave most of the day open for decorating and cleaning Granny's bedroom, and then I want to attempt my first ever pumpkin roll. Well, if y'all are ready, let's go ahead and get dinner started. I'm going to be searing the pork loin in my cast iron skillet, but first I want to season it. Today I'm following a recipe I found on foodist.com. For the pork I'll be using salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder, which I'll rub all over the pork loin, and then I'll sear it. While the pork is searing, I'll prepare a sauce made with balsamic vinegar, honey, and minced garlic. I also need to cut up some onion to go in the slow cooker, along with some chicken broth and soy sauce. According to the recipe, this easy, perfectly tender, slow cooker pork loin is buttery soft, outrageously juicy, and super tasty, so I can't wait to make it. Alright, well let's get it done. Once the pork is ready and I get it in the slow cooker, I'll cover it with the balsamic honey sauce that I made, and then I'll leave it to cook on low for 6 to 8 hours, which will give me plenty of time to decorate and clean Granny's bedroom, and to bake a pumpkin roll. I went to visit a friend the other day and she had made a pumpkin roll and it was so delicious. Well, since Thanksgiving is right around the corner, I was inspired to try making my own pumpkin roll. I plan on freezing most of it and taking it with us on our Thanksgiving trip. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, I need to finish getting dinner started so I can go decorate Granny's room for Christmas. Alright, y'all, dinner is in the crock pot, so now I'm ready to get in here and decorate Granny's room for Christmas. Tim got her up and now she's watching TV in our son's room while I clean and decorate for her. The first thing I want to do is fill the oil diffuser with some cinnamon bark essential oils to help set the Christmas mood. Next, I'll need to undecorate from fall, and I plan to clean as I go. I can't wait to make her bed. I bought her a brand new Christmas quilt that I think she'll absolutely love. Alright, well, let's bring some Christmas cheer for Granny. Granny was pleasantly surprised when I decorated her room for fall. I hope she'll be just as happy with the Christmas decor. It's going to be a surprise for her. Although she sees me coming and going in and out of her room, but she thinks I'm just cleaning. After I finish decorating her room, I'll be finished with all my Christmas decorating this year, and all before Thanksgiving. That's the earliest I've ever decorated for Christmas, and I kinda like it. Maybe it'll be a new tradition for me. While I'm cleaning and decorating, Tim has been working on the shiplap wall in our master bedroom. It's really coming along and it looks great. We thought we would have the wall finished before we left for Thanksgiving, but he's a few boards short. I mean, he has the boards, they just need to be primed and painted, and we just don't have time for that project before we leave on our trip. But that's okay. We'll take a little break for the holiday, but as soon as we get back home, we'll have no more distractions till Christmas, and all our time will be focused on finishing the master bedroom. loving Granny's room all decorated for Christmas, especially the gingerbread quilt that I found on Amazon. It's super adorable with all the gingerbread houses. Well, y'all, I have just a little cleaning left to do in here, and then I'll be ready to show Granny her newly decorated Christmas bedroom. Granny loved her Christmas bedroom. She was pleasantly surprised, and she thought the gingerbreads were very cute. Well, y'all, I'm ready to attempt my first ever pumpkin roll. I asked my friend if she would share her recipe with me, and as it turns out, she uses Sally's Baking Addictions recipe, so that's what I'll be using today. And as always, I'll leave the recipe linked down below just in case you want to make your own pumpkin roll. Like I mentioned before, I'm hoping there will be no distractions from working on our bedroom once we get back home from our Thanksgiving trip. In fact, I've already finished the majority of my Christmas shopping. I have just a few more gifts to buy, but it's all online, so it will be no trouble at all and won't take any time away from our renovations. I also have everything I need to decorate our bedroom once it's ready, which I'm still hoping will be before Christmas. Tim is more than 3/4 finished with the shiplap wall, and all that's left after that will be to frame out the windows and hang the doors. We are so close, y'all, and that is such a good feeling, that's for sure. I'm almost finished with the pumpkin roll batter. I just need to spread the batter in the pan, and then it will bake in a 350-degree oven for about 17 to 18 minutes. That should be just enough time for me to clean up my mess and to wash a few dishes. The pumpkin roll is ready to come out of the oven. As soon as it comes out, I'm going to attempt to roll it up. This is the part that seems like it will be the hardest to me. Alright, well, let's give it a try. Well, for my first try, I say it didn't turn out too bad. I was too nervous to attempt to flip it over onto a tea towel, so my friend gave me a trick to rolling it up, and it worked great. Well, now it will need to cool in the fridge for a couple of hours. Once it's cooled down, I'll then make the cream cheese filling. couple of hours since the pumpkin roll came out of the oven and it's cooled down. So now I'm making the cream cheese filling. And once it's ready, I'll then finish making the pumpkin roll. Well, it looks pretty good, so now I guess it's time for a taste test. I'm going to cut a piece for Tim, Granny, and myself, and then I'm going to give it a try. The pumpkin roll was delicious, y'all. It was very good, but now it's much later in the evening and dinner is ready. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it together and get it served up. I threw some sweet potatoes in the oven a couple of hours ago, and I heated up some collards that I prepped for Thanksgiving. But I'm most excited to try that pork loin. It smells amazing, and I can't wait to taste it. Well, y'all, dinner turned out delicious. The pork loin was very moist and tasty, just like the recipe promised. Well, I guess that's about it for another video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun decorating Granny's bedroom for Christmas, and I'm pretty proud of my first pumpkin roll. And not to mention, dinner was a big hit. Well, y'all, I can't wait to talk to you again real soon. Bye, y'all.